Are you ready to move into the Atlantic Division offseason preview?
I am. You may have to keep us on a timer here so we don't spend 40 minutes on the first team.
Oh yeah, I won't. I will make us move things along.
All right.
Don't everybody worry. I'll begin with the Boston Celtics. Key free agents: Grant Williams, he's restricted, and Gallo has a player option. He'll pick it up. Key extension eligible candidates: Jaylen Brown, he's eligible for that supermax of 5 years and $290.3 million. Their best spending tool, maybe it's the mini mid level, but they could be up against the second apron if they keep Grant Williams. So Grant, what are you thinking about? Like, what's your biggest overarching thought about the Celtics, their biggest need, what you're looking to see them do as we head into their offseason?
Yeah, we've talked about them a fair amount in the context of the postseason, and it seems to me that they need someone that can kind of shake things up or create a good shot, whether that's by driving or passing, when the offense just stalls, which is like what got the Celtics killed again. You could also find another big maybe especially, so I guess we could just get into, like, if you lose Grant Williams in restricted free agency, totally possible. You might need another big to throw in there, especially as Al Horford ages. But I don't view that as significant, as big of a need as just someone to make a play offensively, to like get a shot, which is a weird thing to say with Jason Tatum on the roster, but that's just what we saw was a failing in whether it's the offensive scheme or the personnel. So, like you said it, yeah, right. As Blown says, that was supposed to be Malcolm Brogdon. Turns out Malcolm Brogdon is pretty tunnel visiony, and is a good spot up threat.
There have been someone in Discord, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who, said that they already have enough creators, and they just have a bunch of, to me, it's just secondaries. Like, they don't have the primary floor organizer. And I think that's where the issue comes in.
And the bad news is, given the tools they're going to have, it'll be really hard, if not impossible, to find someone like that. And we should say there's not a lot of like high-end shot creators on the market to begin with. So, like, let's start with, do you have an upper limit on Grant Williams that you're willing to match in restricted free agency? It feels like 16-17 million is about as high as I'd be willing to go.
But it's just like, are they going to use him? Joe Mazzulla seemed very anti-Grant Williams at points throughout the season and the playoffs.
Apparently that was a point of like some frustration among the roster, is because that was a Mazzulla skewed offense.
That was a great piece of The Athletic, by the way, with
Jared Weiss and I forget, Jay King.
Yeah. So I would probably go 15-16 feels right.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely, if he gets 20 from anyone like he wanted to at the beginning of the season, he doesn't give you enough. He's not big enough to give you the raw rim protection and a ton of rebounding and play the 5 by himself. So, but I would go what else are you going to do? Because you mentioned the advantage creation. The other thing I'm kind of thinking about for them is, do they need a big? Because Al Horford, what if the aging curve just kind of falls off?
Yeah,
it could. He's getting older. Yeah. And then you have Robert Williams III. How many games is he good for? And he was dealing with a sickness. I thought they were becoming like anti-RW3 towards the end of that Heat series, but he was apparently dealing with a sickness. And then if you're going to lose Grant Williams, and even if you don't lose Grant Williams, like, you still kind of feel like you need a big that you actually trust to play, where it's okay. Blake Griffin seemed like he might've had a good impact on the locker room, but it's not going to be him. And, Luke Cornett wasn't playing when it mattered. So do they need another big here? And that, to be fair, if they need another big, it definitely gets harder if you're losing Grant Williams in the process, but it's easier to find a big using minimums than it's, hey, can you just find like this other floor general? And all we have is the minimum or the mini MLE to offer.
Yeah. Can I throw you some like shot creator types that I was thinking of as potential targets?
I can't promise that I'll catch them, but please throw them at
me. So they're all bad. I don't feel good about any of them. So, I mean, just thinking of like someone that will shoot it, when it's reasonably open and the offense has gone to shit, like Lonnie Walker, Terrence Davis. I mean, if we're talking minimums, I don't think that's enough to get either of those guys.
Right.
Trey Jones is a very different type of player, may not get out of San Antonio at all, but he'll be the floor general type. Like, I just don't know if he's quite, up to that in task. Like he's kind of I don't know, like a stopgap, really. I guess if you went big, is Naz Reid, is the mid-level enough to get Naz Reid? Like, he's getting more than that, right?
If Naz Reid signs for the mid-level exception, he needs to fire his agent.
So that's all I got. Like, I think really, we've talked about this before with respect to, do you give Jaylen Brown $290 million? I think the best course for the Celtics is pretty much run it back, and just hope you get lucky on one of these minimum signings.
Add,
Because
yeah, add Frank Ntilikina, call it a day.
sure,
And
you're good.
I
Noted shot creator Frank Ntilikina.
I've tried to figure out other do you take a flyer on Derrick Rose as the team option, or Goran Dragic, like skew old that way, or like can you reinvent, like is it time for a DJ Augustine renaissance or
Oh my
something in the
god,
NBA?
how many
I
renaissances have we had for DJ Augustine?
Yeah, I don't. And so what you run into the issue of, if they want the player we're talking about, it probably needs to happen. And Blown says in the chat, I feel like they need a consistent shooter. Yes, I just feel like, I guess they could, but like, you have enough shooting on this roster. There's just variability because they take so many threes. There are going to be nights where it looks awful.
They got to generate different kinds of threes where it's like in to out instead of just swinging it around the perimeter.
Glad that someone appreciated my DJ Augustine. I don't, and it's when you're getting into trades, if you don't want to trade Brown and Tatum, which I wouldn't, we're both in the camp. It's just, you're not trading these guys. So then it's okay. Well, is RW3 and Smart and Brogdon and White on the table? I just don't even know like what the best player you could acquire while not trading any of your real core pieces. Like what this team could really use, and his team needs him now. So it's not gonna, like Mike Conley in Boston would make it that type of a player where it doesn't have to be domineering floor general, but I think that's what they need. Do you think they need that more than they need another big? And we'll wrap it up there.
I think it's recency bias, although I don't know if you can call it that if it's been a couple of years. I want someone, and maybe I don't know if it's a player that's going to fix this. It may be a system thing. I just want someone that's going to make it so the offense doesn't look like five guys have just never played together before in like crucial playoff moments. So I think I focus more on someone that can pierce the defense, create shots, or, just conventionally generate offense that isn't swinging the ball around the perimeter with no like intention to do anything. My
final thing before I dismount the soapbox is that people have become way too low on the Celtics. They just made back-to-back conference finals, and it's just like, let's slow our roll.